All right, I am back. Cool. All right, what is today gonna be? Good question. So let's see. Last time I did two sequences that were interconnected. A narrative, or I did one part of it one day and another part of it the other day. Um, this was part of it. This was part of the dream sequence from last time. Very avant-garde, all things considered. That's a cool shot. Sorry, I said that last time, but I like it. Okay. What I'm going to do, I think, for today is I might actually still use the exact same camera technique that I used last time. Are these two what the heck am I doing? Man, jeez Louise. I thought I got pretty good sleep. Um yeah, sections from the Master Chess Volume 2 book. I might still use these ones again. Um and not go to something new. Just because I feel like these are a good combo. But, hmm, you know what? We'll see. We'll see. Really depends how I feel this morning. Let me actually drink some of this coffee because That's the sound of my keys. That's not the sound of coffee. I do not drink metallic coffee at this point. Okay. I am going to check something. Um, hmm. Hmm, okay. Oh man. Hmm. I rolled a 28. Okay. I know this is kind of. Yeah, I'll save this for tomorrow. I'm going to save my rolls for tomorrow. Um, and then I'll do them tomorrow. I just want to at least roll because I guess I like the feeling of knowing what kind of scene I'm going to do. I guess it kind of gets rid of the element of this being random though, if I know a little bit in advance. So okay, sorry, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I thought I got good sleep. Maybe I got too good of sleep. So now I'm too relaxed. Um, okay. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna do back to character and turn with move. Hmm. Okay. Mm. I do not know how good this scene is going to be because I guess that's not an excuse. about to say, I have places to go pretty quickly, so I can't go overtime with the scene. But it doesn't mean it has to be bad. Oh yeah, howdy. Oh wait, are you new to the channel or the stream? Um, Person in the chat. I forget. I forget the names of who watches, because normally I actually explain at the beginning of every morning as to like what I'm doing or what this warm up process is. But this is like the one morning where I decided not to. So, um, this is the one time I decide to not explain what my process is and what I'm doing right now. Um, yeah. Okay. Whatever. Okay. I'll explain my process then. Um. Okay. Cool. I'll do the intro. Um. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Nice to meet you. All right. So this is a warm up process that I do when storyboarding. Um, where what I do is I take sections from the book Master Shots Vol.2 by Christopher Kenworthy, and I have a random dice generator, and then I roll um, to figure out what two sections from the book that I'm going to use, and then I'm going to do a straight ahead storyboarding section where I just draw out a scene intuitively without a script or anything. And just by using two sections from the book, I can kind of coordinate and figure out what kind of scene this is going to be and what kind of dialogue it should have. So it's essentially writing and storyboarding at the same time, straight ahead with an interval timer. So then I draw a new drawing like every 15 to 20 seconds. I do it for like 22 minutes. So like here's an example of a session from like a while ago. So this was a scene where the the description of this one is off. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, this is correct. So this is like a scene I storyboarded from like session 2 drawing with thumbnails. So I just drew it straight ahead and I wrote out a narrative that was I thought it was funny. And then here's like one from, let's see, where's session? It's a recent one. Here's like session 11, where the description was I need to have a central character who's in between two different characters. And then I also need to use the background to tell the story. So sense of location, which is section 10.4 from the book. And so then what I did is I storyboarded out a scene where like we start with the cell phone and there's a character typing and he's got this like robot companion and there's like an AI companion who's, there's the thumbnail, who's like on the TV screens talking to him. So as they're walking and talking, like he's talking to him and he's like, hey, you can't go there, there's danger and stuff like that. And so there's things on these television screens that are saying that there's some kind of uprising happening. And robot character talks, and then these police cars, flying police cars in the background, motivate the camera to move in this direction. And this AI on the screen keeps on talking to him, and robot talks back, go back to the AI. He's mad. He's like, dude, you're gonna die if you go out there. The robot's like, what'd you say? And the main character, he keeps on walking. And there's like calamity going downstairs below the skyscraper. And then he's still typing on his cell phone. He like takes a picture of the rebellion happening downstairs. And he sends it. And he looks back and there's the robot and the AI. They're both fighting each other. He's like, hey guys. He's like, come on. You gotta go. He jumps down. Because he has like hover boots or something like that. So he jumps down. Robot guy. He looks over. He jumps down. And then the AI, he like goes down from TV screen to TV screen. Down to where there's like fighting and action. So he's like swooping down like that. From going from TV screen to TV screen. So that whole sequence was just made up on the spot. Like there wasn't any script or anything. It was just by knowing principles of camera moves and storytelling, where I was like, hey, this is what should happen next. This is what should happen next. It's like the camera should do this. This character should do something like that. And so like here was a car scene where there's like a whole bunch of people in a car. There's like a guy in the back with a gun. And so our main character, he's just like listening in to these two people fight. And then this guy's like, no, you need to go over there, make a turn there. It's like, okay, I got it. And our main character's stuck in some sort of difficult situation. And he's trying to be friendly, but apparently people don't like him. And then eventually they have to get out of the truck. And then the van pulls off. You see, he pulls out, drives without him. So now he's in a new location. And so that was another sequence. Yeah, and then there was this one was cool because it had sepia tone. It went for a Dust Bowl aesthetic. But yeah, these are on my Twitch channel, so you can still watch them. Or you can watch the drawing sessions of them when I did them. Because I explain what's happening in the narrative and my thought process as I'm drawing and like why I make certain decisions. But yeah, we'll see how today goes. Because I got to bounce pretty soon. But yeah, that's what these streams are. It's straight ahead storyboarding. So that's the concept. Concept is to be able to have some prompts and draw something really quickly. You know, I think that's the idea, is to be able to just have a little outline and then, yeah, draw a scene based off of it. So, also usually at the very beginning, I give a little explanation as to what the scenes are, like what the roles are. I actually explained these two on Friday because I did a scene that had these, but I can explain it also again. So turn with move is when the camera, or when a character moves in timing with the camera, during like a turn. So it's not a very complicated concept. So it's like, you know, here's this character in the foreground, character 1, here's character 2. And character 2 might say something that's like interesting. And then what this does is character 2 is going to turn their head, and they're going to turn their head as the camera begins to orbit. And so then you end with a composition like this, where the two characters are now kind of more looking at each other. And that's because the camera turned. It's something that you can do with like a revelation of like new knowledge, or maybe a character says something that's meaningful to the other character. So now they're more like, you know, here, this character's looking away and this character's looking in this direction. But by the end of this camera orbit, you know, now they're visually connected. And then maybe they can get even closer to each other, and they're like about to, you know, be good friends or smooch or something, you know. There's a lot of ways it could go. So the other one, section 5.5, is back to character. And so the premise of this is when you have a dialogue scene where one character isn't facing the other character. Again, this is pretty basic, but like the idea is then I'll need to storyboard a scene where one character isn't looking directly at the other character and the other character is like trying to talk to someone. And so, yeah, I just need to figure out what I want that to be. So yeah, you see in this shot, it's like, here's this guy, he's like talking to this person here, and he's still trying to talk to them, and the whole time their back is to him. And so then that makes him feel distant and disconnected. So, all right, I gotta do a sequence where these are both true. And I will begin in just a second. I need to get my interval timer. Hmm. Hmm. I think I'm gonna do an old abandoned broken down house window, something like that. Like an old decrepit house. And we're gonna have ivy growing up the sides of it. We're gonna have some flowers, something like that. Maybe a little tree growing. Okay. This is setting up the stage for the shot. Maybe there's some sunflowers here. For the opening shots where I'm doing like an establishing shot like this, I'm okay with not with this not following the timer. Because normally I try to draw like a drawing every like 15 to 30 seconds or something like that. Um, but for an establishing shot, those take more time. Those are kind of more important. So I'm a bit okay with this not counting towards my main time. So I really want the ambiance for the rest of the shot to make sense. Ooh, this can have the nice lighting with the sunlight coming through, like coming through the trees or something. Okay. Um. Oh, how long have I been doing storyboarding work? Um, I've been practicing it and doing it for, I guess, maybe 8 years. Though, how much of that was actually being paid to do that, and like actually getting consistent work? I'd say probably only 3 of those years. Um, to be honest. I think there's only 3 years over the last 8 years that I've actually gotten like consistent work because there's always something coming up. It's like either there's a writer's strike or there's something happening in the industry or AI, So it's a little tricky. Um, but yeah, I've been doing this warm up off and on for at least um 4 years, I'd say. Just this warm up exercise. Um, I think it was 2022 was the year that I like really did this exercise. Where like it was every morning I would do it for like several months, and I would just try to like make sure that I knew how to storyboard things based off intuition and not based off of script. But yeah, no, I mean the very first job that I got was in 2019, um, and it took me like over a year to get that job because it was a studio that was literally right down across the street. Um, but they kept on having production delays. So like they're like, oh, we're gonna hire you next month. Oh, we're gonna hire you next month. And like they did that for 10 months straight. And that's not the first time that's happened to me. That's like at this point, I've had that happen to me so many times where productions will claim the start, and then you're accountable for the production, but they're not accountable for actually starting when they say they're going to start. So that is a tough lesson that I learned, which was productions do not start until they start. If that makes sense. Like, don't believe that they're going to start until they're actually paying you. That's at least my experience. My experience has always been nothing starts when it claims to start. It's happened to me on too many occasions. You have like a dish rack here. So I'll explain a little bit of what I think this narrative is going to be. I think this narrative is going to be some sort of, I don't know, fantasy-ish character. Oh yeah. Yeah, nah, it's frustrating. It's because the nature of animation, you can't really start until you have a full team and everyone's on different schedules. So production might say that they're going to start in like 2 weeks or tomorrow, and then what happens is suddenly someone bails, or someone or an investor decides to leave, or something like that, and then essentially that keeps on pushing things back. So it's not necessarily always the studio's fault or whoever's hiring you. It can just be the fact that getting anything to start is like herding cats, essentially. Like, it's a difficult process getting everyone and at the same place at the same time when they're all like freelance artists. Or at least that's what I've been told. That's what I've been told. So either way, so this scene I'm kind of figuring out as I draw this background, but I think what I'm gonna do is it's gonna be some kind of like fantasy-ish. It's some character who has like a curse maybe, and they live in this like abandoned house. That's kind of what I'm going for. And what's going to happen is there's going to be a character who's like trying to talk to them or communicate with them or something like that. You know what? I'm going to put a refrigerator in the background. I think that's cheap, but because I think the example from Master Shots Vol.2 also has a refrigerator in the background of its example. So I think I'm gonna have some character who has like some kind of like curse thingy going on, and what's gonna happen is they're like running around because their curse is like, I don't know, making them freak out or something, and then the character behind them is like trying to calm them down or something like that. And so this character is probably going to start like busting up the place. It'll make sense. All right, cool. Gonna add my layers. Okay. It might be easier to actually just, whatever. I'll figure it out later. All right, I'm gonna start my timer. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we're gonna have. You know, I'm gonna use a different type of brush. This character's like got some sort of. They're like a tentacle curse thing going on for them. Sort of almost like No Face, really, from oh my goodness. I already realized I messed up on this background layer. It is the wrong shading type. Doop. Give me a sec. I have already messed up. Cool. Now I'm not having this visual issue. Much better. Things are getting knocked over. This is very abstract, this character, in terms of how he's moving. So, hopefully this will eventually make more sense. And then, so we're going to see like these little tentacles popping up because he's on the floor or something. And then what's going to happen is his friend or someone's like rushing in, where they're like, it's a very small person compared to a refrigerator. He's like, whoa. It's like, that person is still very small compared to a refrigerator. He's like, whoa, dude. He's like, dude, what's going on? Like, why did you take the cursed stone thingy that turns you into a monster? Or whatever. I don't know what the plot is, but you know, it's something that this guy knows about. So he's familiar with whatever's happening here. And so he's going to back up because he's doing a big move here. I really want these objects on the counter to get knocked over. The problem is I do not have enough time to make that work properly when storyboarding this. These are kind of more thumbnails, really. He's going to cover his face here. Because I'm going to have this window. I will have one thing get destroyed. I specifically set up this window at the beginning because I knew I wanted it to get smacked. Because I wanted the composition to get wider. So I'm going to have it get smacked out. And then, see, here it is coming towards the, it shatters and breaks and and then I'm going to go back and draw all the tentacle thingies as it breaks. Here's his, I don't know, his clawed shadow arm or something like that. As this guy is, you know, he's cursed or whatever, and he's not fully under control. Okay. Give me a second. I'm duplicating a bunch of panels. So he's gonna build up anticipation. So you see he's gonna curl in
And he's going to bring his other arm up or something. So we're building up for a bigger action. And this guy's going to lower his arm. His audience is maybe thinking that something will or won't happen. And then he, of course, swooshes over to the right because we built up a whole bunch of anticipation on the left. And so he's going to swish around like, then that's going to move these flowers a little bit. And then we're also going to get a cut mark in this wall. Like a big slash. Does he just like cut it or something like that? And then we're going to change this. We're going to change that. Because now we need to change this background drawing. Which is a lot of work, but whatever. And this is going to splinter. And these flowers are going to move back. And then he's going to move to oh man, he's going to knock over the dishes. Okay, this is going to be a whole bunch of things that are going to, I'm going to need to break or destroy. I didn't realize. Okay, yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch of broken elements in this scene. So, okay, he just knocked over this dish rack that was sitting here. Man, dang, why do you have to do that? Sorry, I didn't realize I was going to be drawing such violent content here. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to just board out the stuff that's breaking. And just for like this moment. And then I'll draw the characters moving. Because I need to be able to track and animate, essentially, this breaking action. And then because this character here is just a shadow blob, it's not very difficult to, you know, animate him. So he went from left to right, so now he's gonna go right to down to up left. And then his friend over here needs to be I think he's still over here. He's gonna be like there's our shadow friend. And now we have this composition space that we didn't have earlier. Remember, he knocked out the window? Now we can see further. Here's his friend still there. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna pause my timer for half a sec. So the problem I'm running into is that I keep on having to duplicate my background because my background keeps on changing. And every time I do that, that lags Storyboard Pro. So give me a sec. I'm gonna pause my timer, make sure they have the most updated background. Okay. So this will have no one in it. And this background will even change again. Okay, starting the timer again. Okay, go. So, the shadow guy, we're going to see him like clambering up the wall. It's like scraping. And here's our friend, our character, who's like circling around closer to the camera. Then we have this. Yeah, this shadow thing is like clambering up the wall like a gecko on wet glass. It's the best description I can say. I have a gecko, and I have seen her clamber up wet glass, and it's a lot of this like skittering motion. And like legs flailing about. He's gonna duck down again. Because there's this object that's visually kind of going down towards him. I'm trying to think which way I want this creature to go. This cursed guy. I guess he can just drop. Hits his head off the table. Having this guy in the foreground, constantly moving. And the whole time he should be like talking. So he's like, dude, he's like, what's up? Give me a second. I'm gonna duplicate this background a couple more times. So he's now on screen left. Probably gonna have a little bit of a calm moment. Just because we've had so much action. And then something big is gonna happen. So we're gonna have like some little vibrations or something. Where he's like, come on. Like, you gotta think, Mark. Think. He's putting his, gotta. It's like, you gotta calm yourself. So you got yourself into this mess. He's doing a little hand point gesture. Where he's like putting his hands like flat against the side of his face and then pointing forward. Maybe this is like some sort of curse that this guy's like, he frequently gets into this issue in some sort of like behavioral mannerism. And this friend is like, dude, you've done this before. Come on, you gotta. And what's gonna happen is he's gonna shoot straight up into the, right as this guy's like talking to him. And gonna burst through the ceiling. You know, and he's just gonna stand here. He's like, oh. Maybe he's not surprised by this. And you get some ceiling panels and stuff that breaks down. And he takes a step back. Then the camera can, for the first time in this whole sequence, we're going to move the camera. Very cool stuff. Um, so we're going to tilt the camera up so we can see the, I guess I need to draw this on the background layer. We need to be able to see the hole in the ceiling. And this is a little hard to do because we're currently in a window. If that makes sense. We're looking through a window. So I guess the only thing I could do is maybe, you know what would actually kind of be funny? Actually, you know what I'll do? This would actually be funnier. Man, give me a second. I might pause my timer. I'm going to, we're going to do a farther pan. This is going to be rough, so this won't fully make sense, but this is not the optimal way to do this. I'm just going to draw the edge of the house or edge of the roof of the house. We have like a little bit of a steeple, maybe like a port window. I've been using that word a lot in my streams, and we're going to have them bust through the ceiling of the house. You're going to see it from the ground view, so it's like, or from the roof. And there's like, I don't know, a cloud or something like that. The underside of a cloud. And then what's going to happen is the camera's going to go back down to this guy. I'm going to get, and we're going to see him on the ground. It's like, he's like looking outside the window. He's like, geez Louise, he is not in a good mood today. And so he's gonna head on out. He's going to, I don't know, a certain location where he knows where this character is going to go. So he's walking through the rubble. He's going to get out of this room. Okay. So let's see. I think we can end that camera angle. So hold on, I'm gonna pause my timer again. Um, just hey, 69 panels, almost 70. Because I just want to get an overview of what's happened so far. So, character comes in. He's like, "Whoa, dude, you need to calm down." And he's like, "Hey, stop it! I told you to stop it." It's like, "Whoa, dude, you really need to calm down. Look, think. This is gonna cause a lot of destruction." We look up. I see him fly up. It's like, oh man. Okay, this facial expression is way too big. He should look a little bit upset. And then he's gonna go out. And then where does the plot take us? This is a big question. I know where the camera's gonna be though. Okay. This is gonna be a shame because I said I wouldn't go too far into the scene, but I think I'm gonna have to. Oh, sorry. I just read your comment. Have any of the projects you worked on been released? Uh, yes, some of them have. A lot of them got canceled though. Um, so for instance, like I think it was League of Legends international trailer or international music video like 2023 or 2024. I worked on that one. I worked on a couple psyop projects. Psyop being the advertisement studio. I worked for what was it Bucket Studio. I don't know if you've seen his work online, but it's really really cool. Him and his team are great at Blender. It was a lot of fun working on their project, but unfortunately, that project got canceled before it's fully finished. It was DC Heroes United. Which again, it was fun to work on a team, but it was also super hectic and everyone was being overworked. I'm trying to think of other things. The first movie I worked on was a movie called Sneaks, which is a interesting film to say the least. But yeah, I worked for that studio for a little bit. I do not think their studio exists anymore though. Basically, I've worked for a lot of startup studios. A lot of startup studios don't last very long, unfortunately. All right, I'm gonna start my timer again. All right. I'm gonna draw a cloud or something. I don't know, something. So he's gonna whiz by the camera. And I don't know what this Orby character is, anyways. He's gonna have big, scary eyes or something. Basically, the whole point of this is, it'd actually be cooler if you went from here. Swooshes by the camera. Camera adjusts. Maybe there's trees or something here. I'm trying to think. So you may ask, why did I have him swoosh past the camera like this? Um, Sorry, that's a leading question. Um, the the reason for this is because this character, he's right here in the composition, walking away from us. So to have this character fly towards us in the opposite direction, um, makes things more interesting. It's visually, there's a contrast because it's kind of like the. Let me see. I need to have him like break here. That makes sense. There's gonna be like a tree in the foreground or something. It's gonna, or like in a forest or something. A tree in the foreground. Another tree. A tree that's really close to the foreground. Bam, 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 bam. Sorry, I gotta draw fast now. I'm running low on time. So the reason why this tree gets closer to the foreground, like really, really close, is the reveal of this thing smash landing into the ground towards us will then make a pop in depth. So boom. And so now that he's gonna like flip slash roll forward, here's like pieces of debris or something. He's like turned into a ball. And so then now he's like a boom. Here's like plant debris or something. And then here's gonna be like him unfurling. And it will make sense, I swear. And the camera's going to go up for emphasis and just a little bit of anticipation before he goes down. So we're going to have a little pause. That's going to wipe the camera down. And then, boom. His claw is going to hit the foreground here. And then, okay, so I'll explain this motion, what just happened. So you see, he goes off. Okay, he held in the air for too long there, but all right, I'll delete that panel. And so now he's gonna get all extra angry. It's gonna, like now he's gonna run forward. Sorry, this is very abstract, probably. I think in terms of these lines and everything. It's gonna rush past the camera again. And then this is unfortunate because I'm technically now gonna have to storyboard like a whole nother sequence for any of this to make sense. Okay. How do I need to summarize this? Because I only have like 5 plus. I got like 5 minutes left. I know how I want this scene to end. I know how I want it to end. It's just I need to get there because I accidentally added a whole new setting and location that I didn't think I was going to have to do. And now that I'm here, I'm like, okay, I need to wrap up this narrative. I'm trying to think of what cliches I can use. Okay. I really need to put some lighting in here because this is supposed to be in the dark woods. Man, okay, what would be cliche stuff that I could put in here that's like things he's destroying of sentimental value? Also, I swear that this isn't some sort of like consistent thing with me because I think the last 2 drawing sessions I've done has been sentimental value things being destroyed or broken or something like that. Maybe I'm just not very original. Oh, thank you. Maybe this could be... Okay. This can be an old playground or something this character grew up with and, you know, he's breaking it and thrashing it or something like that. You know, like maybe this land that they lived in somehow got cursed and everything's overgrown and a large amount of the population disappeared. And this character's cursed from whatever event happened. And it's uncontrollable and throws him into fits of rage or something like that. And then he's in a... This is the forest where his hometown used to be or something like that, and it's all overgrown. So here's like, I don't know, we'll have a... I could dedicate a whole sequence to him smashing this playground, but I do not have time for it. So I'm going to just do the... cliches. Like he runs... Oh man, because it'd be cool. I could have him like run up a slide and like scratch it up or something like that. And dang it. All right, I'm going to need to give more time to this sequence. I said I was going to leave, but all right. I'm going to have dang it. All right, what's a good angle? Here's like a swing set. Maybe. Okay. How do we want to shoot this? Trying to think how I want to shoot the swing set. We're going to shoot it from this angle. It's like all overgrown. And there's like flowers or something. Here's swings. We're going to start out a wider shot. And then things are going to get more intense the closer he gets to the playground. So there should be flowers and stuff. And so he rushes, not drags. And so we're going to have him. So he's gonna rush through here at a 3/4 angle. And then it's gonna... I want it to be 3/4 because if it's just straight through, it's not gonna be very interesting. But I also don't want this to be too interesting because I want the next couple shots to be cooler. I want things to escalate and get worse and worse, like as he's breaking more things. You know. Also, this should be listing. I was like, here's the swing set he just busted through. And then he's over here. And so we're going to have, let's see. could have like a seesaw. I'm gonna do it from a higher view. It has like vines on it. It's like got vines and plants. And here's flowers and stuff. So we're going from bam to him coming through here to here's his gross claw hand. He's scraping it up. As he like tries to move off of it. Like puts a big claw mark through it. Which cuts off half of the seesaw. Yeah, sorry, my drawings are getting really, really loose now. Um, let's see. I want to go to where can you go? Sorry, now this sequence is now. Anytime I say I'm going to do a short sequence, I'm no longer following the rhythm of my timer, by the way, because now this is so much more mental work than I thought I would have to do. Ooh, you know what? You know the underside of playgrounds, how they have like little activities for you to do, little things. They got like beams and poles and stuff like that. So it's like dark. Maybe I could do something like that. Like this is completely overgrown. Like they'll have like a tic-tac-toe board for kids to play or something like that. You can have like plants growing on it. And then maybe you can like rush through here. Like he's like he's scraping up everything. He's doing a roll. I also don't have my just realized I don't have my onion skin on. He's gonna break through the. So he's gonna. I'm gonna move the camera a little bit during this shot. Just a little bit. Boom. And then it's gonna follow him. Up. Yeah. I'm drawing super quick now because like gonna have him pop towards the camera from the underside. Just so that this will be a dramatic kind of breaking towards the camera and everything. I'm just gonna There's him breaking through the floors of the playground. Yeah, sorry, I'm drawing this all out. Normally you would just do this in a different manner. And his hand is going to wipe like that. And we're just going to cut to something here. It's going to be like open. So this is just going to just see something shatter. We don't even know what it is. So his hand wipes and smashes something. We don't even know what the thing is, but we see, you know, shrapnel of it go in this direction. You know, and then we're going to see another shot where something's breaking. It's going to break in this direction. You know, kind of getting into a montage where he's just stuff's shattering left and right, literally. Making little sound effects. Then we're gonna have a, I don't know what gets broken. It needs to be something on the ground. You know what? Yeah, I want the tic-tac-toe things to get destroyed. Just gonna show it get cut up. So it gets slashed. And it breaks. Boom. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut to a wide shot, like extreme wide of this like playground. It's now like in pieces, and here's the everything's knocked over, everything's listing, and I'm gonna draw one of those tubes that kids can crawl through. It's one of these tubes. This tube is going to be important. Also, I kind of want to set the setting that this is actually still happening in the woods. And there's still kind of light on everything. So this is happening in the forest that's overgrown. It's a semi-magical forest due to some curse or something that occurred. So you got plant growth everywhere. There's like big trees in the background. And the camera's gonna slowly push in. And so like you're gonna see him like there's some of the stuff that he just cut. I like that this character is a blob at heart, because that makes this very easy to board. and maybe he gives out a little animalistic roar or something. And so what I want is for him to go inside the tube. He's going to go inside the children's crawling tube, or whatever the heck they're called. Let's see. Seems like he's probably going to cut something else. I can only see a little bit of the outline of him. And so we're going to cut to this shot of the tube. And those tubes usually have little holes, ventilation holes. At least that's how I remember them being. So he's gonna, we're gonna see him. Yeah. Try and squeeze through this tube. Maybe this character's like crying or something now, so you can tell that this is a sad monster. And he's too big to fit in this kid's tunnel. Yeah, so he's like a liquid or a putty squeezing through here. Again, this is kind of similar to like No Face from Spirited Away in terms of emotionally distraught, crazy slime thing. What's going to happen is his eyes are going to drag downward. You're going to have to imagine that this background is filled for now. And then we're going to cut to this lower angle shot from underneath the tube. To show that he is. Okay. I swear I'm wrapping up this scene. Oh my goodness. All right. Okay, I'm adding effect in here that I do not have time for, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So those tubes are always like slightly semi-translucent, and I really want to capture that. So like the sun is behind it, and this goes here. And so then that way you can see him crawling through it. Okay. Cool. So now you can see him like struggling to, he's like a liquid trying to get through here. You can see his little arms. Like, maybe you can see his tentacles coming out the little openings. Need a bigger brush. And so he's officially stuck. You can see tentacles and like dark energy or whatever coming out. So he is stuck in the tunnel. Let's see. And we're gonna get some sort of emotional close-up of or we'll just maybe well, we already used this extreme wide. You know, we'll go to like an emotional close-up. He's like all distraught because he can't get through this tunnel now. And so his face is going to go up against the floor of the tunnel. Because we're emotionally making this feel like a character who's putting their head against the ground. But it's a monster. Maybe that's the other end of the tunnel. So we're kind of getting a POV shot. He just really wants to get to the other side. He can't make it. Or something like that. And then we're going to cut back to his expression. His sad monster expression. Who's stuck in a tunnel. And so, like, closes his eyes or something. And then we're going to get this. Maybe we're going to go back to this wide shot. Of him there. And then we're going to see that he's, like, slowly maybe shrinking or something. And then, or no, he can't be shrinking yet. Okay, he's same size. He's stuck in there. Sorry, I'm having to write this movie and these character drama and everything. Oh, Alien Hominid. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I haven't played that game in such a long time. Jeez Louise. Yeah, it's a shorthand. This is shorthand drawing. Yeah. Okay. So if you remember, part of the prompt in this scene is I need to do a turn with move. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to a point where this character is stuck in a tight spot, and then his friend comes up behind him, and then that deflates the blob, and then that also creates a turn with move. So we'll have a camera move in here. That's what I'm trying to lead this all up to, and it's really difficult because I'm now having to write it like character drama and everything like that, and like this new setting. So maybe he hears the voice of his friend like off screen or something like that, like behind him. And so maybe he like starts shrinking or something. Dude, I don't know. I know the moment that I want. The moment that I want. It's also hard to draw these characters in a tunnel. The moment that I want is... See, I actually don't even know if the moment that I want is physically possible because these tunnels are so tight. Because the camera can't move. in an orbit in a tight tunnel like this. Dang it. I didn't even think about that. Whatever. I'm going to fake it. This is going to work. I swear. Okay, so this is the tunnel. It's a pretty big tunnel, all things considered. So he's all blobby up against the side of the wall. And then his friend. Yeah, I can't do this in the tunnel space. Well, okay, sorry. I'm gonna. I wrote myself into a corner or a tunnel, you could say. Okay, so the problem is, okay, I'm gonna draw this out. The issue is that I want his friend to be in the tunnel kind of with him or on the outside edge of it. Okay, so we're gonna, here it is in like a above view. So blob character is here. And he's here. The problem, and so what the camera move needs to do is it needs to be here. And it needs to orbit to here. So that these two characters can then be like this. The issue is he is in a tunnel. This causes some problems for me. The best I could do is that maybe those tunnels, they do have ventilation. If the camera could go out. But the problem is that feels really gimmicky. It feels like a gimmick, you know what I mean? To have the camera move out of the tunnel and then see both of their faces, like here's the one guy, hi, and here's the blob's face over here. You know, that feels gimmicky. I think I'm just gonna have to do what's best for the scene. And I think what's best for the scene is not actually doing that camera move. I'm going to emotionally try and do the move. So we're just gonna have the camera shift. Okay? We're not gonna have it orbit. We're just gonna have it move a little bit. So I'm gonna have the other character is already in the tunnel with him. And he's like trying to encourage him or something. So you see there's gonna be this reveal that he's behind him. Like this whole time. I think that's just what I have to do. Because yeah, like I want to get that camera move in. I mean, the camera is still moving on his head turning. So it is, I am still kind of following the prompt. It's just I didn't do an orbit. So I think that's the best that's going to be. And what's going to be cool about this scene is that technically some like light beams could be coming through the tunnel. So like, see, there can be like light beams coming in through the little slits, the ventilation. It'd make the lighting look really cool. But I do not have time for that. I need to wrap up this scene. I really, really need to go. Here's this sad, sad blob person who got cursed. Destroying everything that they loved from their childhood. It's so sad. Okay, I shouldn't mock. It actually is sad, but I guess it's, I don't know. I feel like I'm running into cliches, but and the shot of the guy still talking to him. I have no idea what he's saying. He's saying something. He looks into the light source, which is some sort of emotional beat about optimism. And then the blob character is, of course, not looking at him because it's showing that he's, I don't know, afraid of something or not getting control of something. I don't know. It's symbolic. And there's his friend. We're getting a little closer to him. And with the light source or whatever. Oh man, if we want to make this even more poetic, there's a flower because it's about life and light and new beginnings or something. This is the. Sorry, I really shouldn't make fun of it because it is kind of poetic, but I am also kind of like, because I'm writing everything off of intuition and cliches. It's like, okay, what's something that can emotionally get this point across? Whatever this movie is, because I have no idea what this movie is. He gives some sort of rousing speech. And when he looks back, he like looks back at his friend. He's in like surprised. Because his friend, the blob person, is already gone. Because he shrunk down enough that he was able to escape the tunnel. So he's already out on the other side. Oh, now that's more poetic. I like that. So his words of advice helped him get through to the other side of the tunnel. But he did it without giving thanks, which leaves an open-ended moment. I think some of the more emotional and best moments in films or TV shows or stuff like that is whenever there's a solution, but there's still unresolved thankfulness or appreciation. I think it was Cowboy Bebop did that really well, where characters could never actually like thank each other or like actually show appreciation because all the characters' egos would get in the way. And so even when something emotional would happen, it was always unresolved. Like something emotionally like beneficial to a character would happen. It was always unresolved. So it'd always leave you kind of being like, wow, that was beautiful. But it's like, dang, I wish I could just, see the person thank the other person for what they did or something like that. And it never really happens in Cowboy Bebop. And there's a couple other shows that do that. And I've remembered that from over the years. That's a technique that works really well, in my opinion. Because if the person just, like if this blob character just turned around and thanked the guy, it's like, thank you, you really helped me get through a hard time, or something like that. That doesn't, that kind of resolves the problem. It doesn't leave room for anything else to happen. Here's this guy getting up and out of the tunnel. He's looking around for where his friend went. He's got no idea. Then we're going to cut back to this extreme wide shot from a while ago. And it's going to be the friend at the top of here. So we're going to need to recenter this to here. I'm going to change the angle a little. I want it to feel taller. Okay. Almost done. Almost done. And the camera should be... also, I'm going to get rid of the roof. We have his friend standing right there. Out in the open. Looking around for his friend. And there's going to be a little beam of light. Because it's it's an emotional moment or something. Beam of light can be reduced. Thank you. See, it's like, where'd he go? And then the camera should actually be way further back to get the emotions that we need for this scene. And then the camera is going to be slowly pulling back to just give a little bit of an air of mystery as to where this guy went. And then I'm going to draw the foreground elements because we need those on the correct layer. And here he is in the big scary forest. All these trees and whatever. Okay, cool. See the camera's slowly pulling back. Okay, that wraps up the scene. That went way, way, way longer than I wanted it to be. Okay. All right, I'm gonna review this. So, okay, cool. Let's do a walkthrough of this scene. It's a little abstract and the lighting is inconsistent, but how many drawings did I get done? Jeez Louise, 133 plus 11, so 100, 144 plus 21, jeez, which is then, 165 plus 35. Yeah, 165 plus 35. Well, that's 200. 201 drawings. Okay, so 201 drawings were done. That's pretty good. All right, so what are the goals of session 18? Let's go through this. The goal of this was to use section 5.5 and 8.6 from Master Shots Volume 2. And so these two combinations were supposed to be a character has their back to another character while something is happening to show that they are not, engaging with one of the people. Then the other one was turn with move, where the camera moves at the same rate that a character turns. Initially, this was supposed to be an orbit, but we switched it with just a basic camera move. All right, so hold on. Okay. Shadowy character busts into scene. He's like cursed or something like that. He's guys like, dude, you need to calm down. Don't. No, you're gonna break the window. He's breaking all this stuff. He's like, dude, what's going on? You need to get a hold of yourself. And he's like, look, you just need to focus, calm down before you do anything that you're gonna. He flies up there. He's like, oh great. Goes out. Wait. Crashes into the forest. Boom, 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 boom. Crash lands. Roar. He smashes his playground. Cuts the seesaw. Boom, 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 boom. Rolls in. Smashes through the floor. Breaks things. See him smashing. And then he tries to fit in through this tunnel. He can't quite get through. And you see there's like tears in this sad monster's eyes. And there's the other end of the tunnel. And he can't quite get there. And he's all sad and alone, stuck in this tunnel. And then his friend is talking to him from behind. And then as he shrinks, the camera moves to the left, so we see his friend. Get this nice little lighting here. He looks back a little bit. His friend's saying something encouraging. Got this flower and this light, whatever it is optimistic. Probably talks for about 30 seconds or a minute. And then he looks back at his friend, and he's no longer there. It's like, oh, he climbs out. Hold on, we need an extra panel where he's not out yet. Let's see, does that work? He climbs out. And nobody's there. Cool. Hey, I am pretty happy with how that scene turned out. I think that turned out really well. The destruction scene of him smashing things would have to be a lot longer. Him trying to go down the tunnel, I really want there to be more cuts and more stuff of him struggling and pressing to get through there, and he just can't. And then his friend's conversation would probably have more shots because it is very dialogue specific, because I don't know what he's saying. I'm just covering the beats of what he might say. And yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to head out. But yeah, that was a good drawing session. Got a little story. If anyone wants to go write the rest of it, give me credit for the sequence. All right, I gotta go. Well, have a great rest of your day. See ya.